All right, as we gaze out to South Ozone Park, Queens, we settle in as well on this Saturday edition of Aqueduct Insider, and the proof in the picture. I mean, up around 55 degrees, turning back the clock at least a few weeks. It was a nice day here at Aqueduct, a good crowd on hand, and we're glad you're with us here on MSG+. Jason Blewett, Richard Migliori, and 3 turf races on this December 5th card, Mig.
It doesn't feel like December 5th, and the thing I keep thinking is every single day we get like this, we're stealing another day and shortening what could be a long winter.
We've got the 30th running of the Garland of Roses, and autumn has been so mild. Normally, the Garland of Roses has been the sort of kickoff point with the inter-track stake schedule, but Mother Nature permitting, we'll stay on the main track for as long as we possibly can, and let's keep it going with the grass racing. Let's also get into headlines, and California Chrome gets a day or even a week since we last talked about him closer to his likely 2016 debut in the January 9th San Pasquale.
Yeah, I mean, now he's up to 5 furlongs. He won 5 furlongs in 101 at Los Alamitos. We're watching him win the Preakness Stakes, of course, back in his 3-year-old year, 2014. I read somewhere, Jason, that they're pointing towards potentially 2 races in Dubai, and you know, I just kind of hope we don't see the same route that we saw last year, you know, Dubai and then maybe trying that kind of ill-conceived thought of going to England. I want to see him compete here in the States and maybe return to some of the places of some of his past glories.
And there's plenty of room at the top, you would think, of that 2016 handicap division. I mean, the passing of Shared Belief a couple of days ago is just the worst. I mean, that was a real punch in the gut. But, you know, that being said, when you start to really pick apart who's who in the hierarchy, he's got every right to come back as a top 3 horse in the entire country next year.
Well, most horses don't hit their full maturity till sometime during their 5-year-old year. I mean, we might get to see a bigger, stronger, better version of California Chrome if he's given that opportunity. I hope that we get to enjoy him here in the States.
And we like those hard-hitting sprinters, especially fond of the geldings who seem to show up. Rain or shine, Gulfstream Park kicked off their championship winter meet earlier today. Mother Nature not too kind down at Gulfstream Park. A very wet track, but a good one as we bring you one race. There were a whole bunch of claiming crown events, but keep your eye on this stretch battle between Stalwalk and Dude and the horse that was DQ'd out of the De Francis Dash a few weeks ago.
And you know, Stalwalk and Dude's done this before. He's a fighter. He wants it. He was late changing to his right lead. When he got on his right lead, he found a bit more. And the runner-up was very game, but when you hook Stalwalk and Dude in a street fight, you don't want any part of him. If you're going to beat him, you better get by him quick and put him away. Don't give him a chance to hang around and fight back.
And not all of David Jacobson's acquisitions, be it private buys or claims, work out. Many of them don't, but I mean, this is one private buy who's gone through the roof, much like Salute Those Amigos. And let's also get you down to Laurel Park, and we will talk everybody through the final quarter-mile run of the featured 9th race, the Willa on the Move, and this Lady Sibelia. I mean, she is just a gorilla now, 10 for 18 lifetime.
You just got to love this filly. You see she runs with that bubble cup on the outside, and she's a win machine. She just seems to get it done time and time again. Obviously, the course at Laurel agrees with her. I'd like to own her, Jason.
Oh, she is a good one. Kentucky-bred, soon-to-be 6-year-old mare by Majestic Warrior, trained by Robin Graham, and the old veteran Horatio Caramano seems to just fit her like a glove.
Yeah, he does such a good job, Caramanos, and I've always thought of him more as a turf rider, but this filly, she kind of has broken him out of that mold in my eyes. He seems to be able to ride any sort of surface.
And she'll take her show on the road, Lady Sibelia, and I wonder, because we do have a fairly comprehensive filly and mare sprint program throughout the winter on the inner track. Might she run against a couple of the fillies we're going to see right now in our 30th running of the Garland of Roses? John and Brielle will have the call. Again, $100K the purse, and let's do it from the gate.
And all 6 came away to a good start. Enough said. Jubilant Vision. Those 2 are heads apart for the early lead. Classic Points on the outside in 3rd, with Room for Me alongside in 4th. Now it is a 3.5 length gap back to the 2 trailers, La Madrina and Princess Violet. It's Jubilant Vision, the long shot leader here. Jubilant Vision in front by 2. Enough said runs in 2nd. Classic Points on the outside. And Room for Me is down at the rail through a quarter in 22 and 2/5 seconds. La Madrina and Princess Violet at the back. Jubilant Vision has the lead here, and now Room for Me is moving up on the outside. La Madrina has advanced into 3rd as the field hits the quarter pole. Here's Room for Me on the outside now to grab the lead from Jubilant Vision. La Madrina is third. On the outside, it's Princess Violet. There's a furlong to the finish. Room for Me in front by 3. Princess Violet driving up on the outside into second. Then La Madrina and Jubilant Vision. But it is Room for Me, and she's a galloping winner of the Garland of Roses. Won by almost 4. Princess Violet was second. Then La Madrina and Jubilant Vision.
The start much better than her break a few weeks ago at the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and what can you say? The class of the field showed up here. Another powerhouse effort from a mare who's just been an iron horse throughout 2015.
She's so good, and that was her 9th victory in her life, her 6th of this year out of 11 starts. David Jacobson's got her in raging form, and then she worked out a really good trip under Irad Ortiz.
Yeah, Irad Ortiz picking up his second on the afternoon. David Jacobson not down at Gulfstream today. In fact, he was right alongside the MiG after the stake.
David, you claimed Room for Me back in February at Santa Anita for 12.5. Did you ever envision she'd be this successful?
Well, you always hope that they will be, but this is a pleasant surprise.
What was it about her that attracted you to her?
She just had good form, big, good-looking filly. Was, running decent races, and it was a nice horse at the time to claim. The intention was to bring her back to New York for in March, the claiming crown that we have here.
Now, she ran in the Breeders' Cup. She had a tough trip. She got off bad. She was wide. She must have bounced out in good order for you to come right back here.
Yeah, she banged her head in the Breeders' Cup, and she had a little cut on her head. It was no kind of concussion or anything like that. But, that was, Victor said, that just took her out of the race, and she still ran a hell of a race, getting beat 5 lengths in the Breeders' Cup for coming from dead last.
What do you think you do with her now if she comes out of this race good?
She'll let me know. It's one race at a time. I don't really have a long-term campaign for fillies as much as I would do with geldings. But we'll see how she is, and look to run her back in New York. That's number one, and then from there we'll see what happens.
Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
All right, David Jacobson doing a great job with Room for Me and Stall Walking Dude. And you and I were just talking. It feels like there's been a bit of a transition, maybe over the last decade, where going back, horses used to be pretty vulnerable dropping out of the Breeders' Cup, say running back a month, 3 weeks to 5 weeks after the Breeders' Cup series. But nowadays, though, horses seem to come back and they're able to really keep that sharp form.
I think the sample years ago of horses coming back and running after Breeders' Cup was smaller. I think more people have started to do it. I think back to, Wayne Lucas last year would Take Charge Brandy, and that made her a champion coming back and running again after that. And I think what we're seeing is just because we're having more horses try it, they're being successful at it. But the other thing, too, is that it seems like seasons have gotten longer and longer for horses, or maybe there's no season. It just kind of all blurs together, because it used to be there was a definitive end to a horse's year, whether it was the Breeders' Cup or before Breeders' Cup, the Champagne or the Jockey Club Gold Cup or whatever it was. It seems like now, as long as horse is doing well, there's always another lucrative spot for them.
All right, Tonalist, Red Vine, Taurus, who won the Go for Juan. I mean, there's been no stopping the Breeders' Cup exiting horses so far, many of which have won here at the Big A. And just like that, the Sire Harlington's thrown a couple of good filly sprinters in Wayville Avenue, and, of course, Room for Me. Let's back up to race number 2. We'll work on that main track and have it ready for Sunday. And let's send it back upstairs to John Abrial for the call Saturday 2nd.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Lyrical Miracle broke well. Bellamy Way now moves up. An Unbridled Band is there. Down at the rail, it's Send It In as they head up the chute. It's Unbridled Band with a head in front of Bellamy Way. Lyrical Miracle, Send It In, right together, 3rd and 4th. Gap of 3 to Here Comes Tommy, who trails the field in 5th. Unbridled Band is the leader here by a half length, with Bellamy Way pressing that pace right there in 2nd. Lyrical Miracles on the outside in 3rd. The quarter in 24 seconds. Even money favorite, Send It In, is running in 4th. 2.5 off the lead. Here Comes Tommy is still at the back. And Unbridled Band is still on top. Challenged here by Bellamy Way. Bellamy Way draws right alongside of Unbridled Band, and the two of them are heads apart as they pass the half-mile pole. Lyrical Miracle just in behind in 3rd. Send It In down towards the rail. And here comes Tommy. 3.5 lengths separate the 5 of them as they move midway on the turn, and Bellamy Way has come away with the lead. Bellamy Way in front, Send It In, has come off the rail and moved to the outside for the run into the stretch. It's Bellamy Way and Send It In, and they are right together. Here comes Tommy, has moved into third, then Unbridled Band and Lyrical Miracle. Send It In now takes the lead from Bellamy Way. It's Send It In front. Bellamy Way in second. And here comes Tommy is third. And Send It In draws away in the stretch. Send It In, the even money favorite, 1 by 5. Bellamy Way second. Here comes Tommy was third. Big break back to Unbridled Band in fourth.
Homebred for Paul Pompa by his Kentucky Derby and Preakness champion, Big Brown. This horse has just really improved. A different Send It In than the horse we were dealing with, I'd say, over the spring and summer.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, his last race against Uncle Si, which might have signaled the comeback of Uncle Si's form, was basically reinforced with this effort by Send It In, who worked out a great trip under Manny Franco from the rail. And we were talking about it. You don't have to go far to visit Big Brown now. He's upstate New York.
Duchess View Farm in the Hudson Valley, and he'll stand 2016 at Duchess View, and maybe a slow start, maybe slower than some of us expected for a horse who just had an insane amount of raw talent. But he started to pick things up, Big Brown, and certainly the first horse that comes to mind is the mighty Dortmund.
Yeah, Dortmund for sure, who's another horse. Talk about the older handicap division this year, could be a major player. And, you know, I have a theory about that as well. I'm full of theories, but sometimes I think some of these horses, almost the blood's too rich. They're almost better when they kind of dial it down a little and maybe don't go to the higher end kind of mares or the higher end kind of stallions. Find that niche.
And Send It In, one of 3 Todd Pletcher trained winners in the span of about 25 minutes. He swept the early double today down at Gulfstream Park, and Dave Grenning of the Forum tweeting out, congratulations to Todd Pletcher winning his 13th consecutive Gulfstream Park training title. We've got King Krantz after getting away from Mohayman, and Seymour Deeney is a big favorite in the 5th on the other side of this quick timeout.
Now you can enjoy your favorite pro and fantasy football teams while playing the races in style as Longshots welcomes back NFL Sunday Ticket. With over 400 HD TVs, 270 individual carols, a full-service sports bar and food menu, Longshots is the place to catch all the great racing and football action. So come on out, bring your friends, bring your league to Longshots, located on the 2nd floor at Aqueduct.
NYRA.com, the mobile site, is always with you when you're on the go, you're at work, you're at school, you're playing, you're aboard honor code like Javier Castellano there. Check it out at m.NYRA.com and check out the NYRA HD app as well, as we have some players here. I'm sure a few of those guys are betting on their NYRA.com wagering account, as we still have plenty of action to go at Los Al, Little Del Mar, Little Gulfstream Park, and we'll have a lot of ground to cover, Mig, not to rush the weekend on the Monday and Tuesday racing report.
Oh, yeah, plenty to look at. And from, you know, just getting Gulfstream off the ground, albeit a sloppy Gulfstream, it is truly the mark of the winter season. It used to be after the first of the year, but like we said, the seasons get longer.
Yeah, the season does get longer. Let's move it ahead. It's the Mig and Jason second segment here on Aqueduct Insider. Back to race number 5. And the timing with King Krantz hasn't been so great up until this point. He has faced some tigers in the 2-year-old division. The eyes are on him as he's a big odds-on favorite in the 5th as we go to Johnny I.
Outside in 4th, Rate for Me down at the rail in 5th. In between horses, Admiral Blue, then a break of 4 to Dr. Mounty and Street Heat. Up the backstretch, Condo King has the lead here over King Krantz. It's Condo King in front, and the opening quarter mile went in 23 and 1/5 seconds. Condo King at the rail by a half length over the big favorite King Krantz. And on the outside is Clear the Mind in 3rd, then Connect in 4th. Rate for Me down at the rail in 5th. Admiral Blue runs in 6th. Farther back, it's Street Heat and Dr. Mounty. Condo King And King Kranz, and they're 1-2 as they come for the head of the stretch, the half mile in 46 seconds. Here's King Kranz up on the outside of Kondo King. Kondo King, a tough customer here. King Kranz on the outside. King Kranz, Kondo King, right together as they pass the 8th pole. Connect has moved into 3rd. King Kranz on the outside. Kondo King not giving up. A pair of kings here as they come for the wire. It's Kondo King. Looked like he got it. Kondo King in an upset over King Kranz.
So King Kranz will live to fight another day, but another day in the maiden ranks. Kondo King had his number and just refused to lose beneath Angel Arroyo.
Well, the way John Embrial said, the battle of two kings. Well, Kondo King relegated King Kranz to, I guess, Crown Prince. Fought him off under a very strong ride by Angel Arroyo. And it looks to me as though King Kranz is trying hard. His ears are pinned, but it feels like he's hanging a little bit. And you just wonder if there won't be a change of equipment in his future, potentially blinkers, or maybe a different way of running. Either just go ahead and put him on the lead, and sometimes they keep running when a horse prompts them, or take him back and make one run. I think him just laying up close, grinding down on a horse, leads to him hanging.
Now, in the case of Kondo King, quickly, who's by Tiz Wonderful, who's now in South Korea, a standing stud. 3 next out winners out of the 4th race from Aqueduct on November 8th, including Vorticity, who won a stake down in Maryland today.
Yeah, Vorticity wins a stake out of Maryland. The horse wheels up now, wins at Gulfstream today. Kondo King comes back and wins today, so maybe it's just a very live race.
All right, let's move it ahead. Another live race. In fact, there were many to choose from in the pre-race examinations. 10 went to the post as we start the final pick 3 with Saturday's 7th, New York Bred Allowance Company. And here's Johnny I.
And they're off. New York Chrome, Super Nicky. Those two go out for the lead with St. Joseph now moving up down at the rail. Kid Blast is racing in 4th, and on the outside a secured position next in 5th, followed by Native George running in 6th. Mr. Dooley is 7th. Black Tide is 8th. Then it's a length and a half to Denifos, and Indiana Stones trails the field in 10th. The quarter went in 22 and 2/5 seconds. St. Joseph down at the rail. In between horses, New York Chrome. On the outside, it's Super Nicky. And there goes secured position. 4 wide. So 4 of them stacked across the track as they come for the head of the stretch. Just in behind, it's Native George in 5th, followed by Kid Blast. Black Tide will be forced very wide. Now off the turn and into the stretch. It is Super Nicky and New York Chrome, and secured position on the outside. Native George darts down to the rail as they pass the 8th pole. Denifos is coming on the extreme outside. Denifos putting in a big late charge, and Denifos comes from way out of it to win by 3 lengths. And Black Tide was up for 2nd. Then secured position and New York Chrome.
First flight of horses, things were hot and heavy, a very taxing pace scenario that took its toll. Denifos full of run beneath Cordelio.
Yeah, and I think he really got this set up. Like you said, there was a lot of company up on the front end, and not only were they going quickly, particularly the first quarter, they were all grouped up together. And when you get that contested kind of pace and horses are feeling that kind of pressure, they don't breathe the same, they don't get in the same rhythm, and it sets up for a horse that comes with that one late run. Kenny Velasquez, he timed it perfectly.
Timed it perfectly. Tough beat with King Kranz. Shook it off. Was back in the winner's circle 2 races later with trainer Bruce Brown, who has done a good job with the horse, who was a real bad actor during a few races this past summer at the Spa. A nice, neat, quick package coming your way. We've got everything else that happened on this Saturday card. 1, 3, 4, 6, and 9.
Chasing Big Band Benny, who has the lead at the head of the stretch. Carries Fort Reef up on the outside into 2nd. Cuckoo Saloon is back running in 3rd. And Bust Another. Big Band Benny challenged here by Carries Fort Reef. Big Band Benny down at the rail. Carries Fort Reef on the outside. Bust Another is 3rd. A 16th to the wire. Big Band Benny and Carries Fort Reef. And Bust Another now coming on through in between horses. And Bust Another busts through at the end to win it. Carries Fort Reef was 2nd. Big Band Benny was third. Turns for home, and here's My Giant now to grab the lead from I Am Atlas. My Giant in front, Invisible Crown now moves into second, and King of Spades takes third. My Giant has the lead by 2. Invisible Crown is second. King of Spades towards the inside in third. They come down for the finish, and My Giant has it locked up. My Giant the winner, and it's a head bob for second between King of Spades and Invisible Crown. Now moves into second. Otis My Man has picked it up and has gained on the outside into third, but still 4 lengths behind All My Trails, who leads with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. All My Trails, the one to catch. Then it's Otis My Man. Sources and Methods now moves to second. Otis My Man is third. Bossman is fourth. And nobody's going to catch All My Trails. Won by 4 lengths. The Sources and Methods was second. Then Bossman and Otis My Man. Citizen, followed by In Trouble and Celebrity Warrior. 3/4 went in 1:14.1. They're in the stretch. Springer's Point has the lead. The lead is now 4 lengths. Why Not Whiskey cutting into that gap. Then it's Nush's Tail, followed by Model Citizen. Springer's Point is still there. The lead's 3.5. Why Not Whiskey in second. Springer's Point is going to do it here. Springer's Point and Chris DiCarlo. It looked like Why Not Whiskey got second. He's in a photo there with Northern. He's trying to get back into it again. The field now enters the stretch. And River Knight has opened up here. River Knight in front by 5. Then Younger, Street Fighting Man, Royal of Fleet, followed by Loose Money and Kangaroo Style on the outside. River Knight in front. It is River Knight who's going to win the nightcap. Kangaroo Style comes on late to get second, and the troubled trip loose.
Not a terrific day when all was said and done in regards to post-time favorites and winning favorites. I think 3 altogether, including Room for Me. But the story is $37,000, the pick 6 carryover. And here's another headline for you fairly late in the show as we have, with our second look, young apprentice, 10-pound bug, Ray Winston, getting his first ever career win in the nightcap.
And you're going to see a very excited young man as he goes over the wire. This horse took them wire to wire, River Knight. You knew he was going to be on the lead. I guess everybody else in the race figured he was coming back to them. Well, he never did come back, and this young man held him together, and you're going to see as he goes under the wire, the celebration's going to begin. And it's going to continue on as he will be basically indoctrinated into the jockey ranks, and we'll get to see that in a moment. But Winston K, no relation to Chris.
Thank you.
Gets it done.
All right, Winston K, some hugs, some handshakes, and he knows what's coming, and we'll see the what really happens at the end of the show as he walks back with Eddie Brown. And let's move right into the standings. So there's your little teaser. We've got a shower coming for Mr. K. But anyway, he our tease number 1 in the standings, walked away with a couple wins on this Saturday program, and we can move on to the trader standings. We had 9 up, 9 down, with 9 different trainers getting it done, including Rudy Rodriguez, your leading trainer, who paid 12-1 with Condo King. Fairly busy in the claim box, just 1 page of claims, but they claimed 1 out of race number 3, King of Spades off Grand Motion, couple out of race number 4, in fact, couple horses that were no match for the Michael Dilger winner, and Protection will go to Mike Maker off Jonathan Shepard. Bob Baffert, New York bred. We're not kidding. He's the star attraction in tomorrow's 8th here at the Big A. We'll talk about it after the break.
Hi, my name is Staff Sergeant Joshua Wallace of the United States Marine Corps. Please join us at the Aqueduct Racetrack to participate in our annual Toys for Tots drive.
Now I'm Staff Sergeant Corrales. Please help us by bringing a new unwrapped toy December 12th and 13th.
Happy holidays.
Thanks very much, guys. Always like having the Marine Corps with us here, the brave men and women, during every annual Toys for Tots drive at the Big A. And we'll go for some green with that 10% Pick 3 winners bonus. The MIG said it last Saturday. Sundays are fun days here at the Big A. Watch and wager over at NYRA.com. Race number 8, State Bred Allowance, Dr. Dempsey. Bob Baffert, the listed trainer. And you know which one's Bob's horse. Blue Shadow Roll, and he's got the Pegram silks on way over a year ago at Belmont Park.
Yeah, this was over a year ago, and California Chrome was trying for Triple Crown glory.
Yep.
This was early in the day, and He got it done. I think he's vulnerable. I mean, when a horse is off that long, he's kind of a big, heavy horse. I'm going to take a stand against him tomorrow. I mean, I know he can run. He's obviously a talented horse, 2 for 2, but he's probably not the soundest individual.
Black cap splitting horses, just, I mean, getting up within striking ranges, rectify. So goes out for another Hall of Fame trainer in the mix, and Bill Mott.
Yeah, Bill Mott. And I think this horse will get a setup for his late run. I think he wants to come running, but he needs some pace in front of him. I see pace in here, and I think he will get the kind of setup he needs to be effective.
A victory today in the 4th with All My Trails. Michael Dilger, the trainer, he sends out the number 9 in this race, True Bet, who beat a bunch of horses, including Dedifoss last time.
Yeah, and Dedifoss came back to compliment this run from him. I've always felt that Michael Dilger's barn's a bit streaky. When they get horses get running good, they all start running good. Well, he won another race today. And another horse that I think could get a good setup. I don't know that he doesn't need to step his game up just a little bit more, though.
Okay, True Bet. We'll get the test for class tomorrow afternoon. And speaking of class, well, that's a good little bridge into our Best of New York for 2015. Season is coming to an end. We'll roll the Open. We had Jess's Dream last night. Well, how about Rachel Alexandra going a perfect 3 for 3 at the Spa this summer? Here's a look at Rachel's Valentina in the Grade 1 Spinaway.
And it's Tanasa, who goes straight out to take the early lead. On the outside, Constellation and Rachel's Valentina is third early on, right in behind the leaders, 2 lengths off them. Then Banreed to the outside, followed by Anna Ray, and Tap To It is last early, and she is 7 lengths behind the front runners. The leader is Tanasa, pressed along by Constellation through the first quarter in 22 and 3/5 seconds. Rachel's Valentina rides the rail and is in third, a length and 3/4 off the lead at this stage. Then Banreed alongside of Anna Ray, and Tap To It still about 5 lengths behind Tanasa, who heads into the far turn in front. Tanasa, the leader, a half a length. Constellation on the outside second. Rachel's Valentina tracks them in third. Anna Ray, Banreed, and Tap To It is last, 45 and 1 for a half mile around the far turn. Tanasa and Constellation will turn for home together in the Spinaway, and Rachel's Valentina swings up on the outside of them. Tap To It is coming now. She was last, but she's been swung to the far outside into the final furlong. Constellation to catch. Rachel's Valentina and Tap To It are coming. Constellation, Rachel's Valentina runs at her and takes the lead. Tap To It on the outside, but they're coming down to the line. Rachel's Valentina is the princess of the Spa. She beats Tap To It in the Spinaway.
What an effort out of Rachel's Valentina, the goods, so professional, becoming a Grade 1 winner for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, that was the feel-good story of the summer. Rachel Alexandra's emergence out of a short but select 2 horses, and we may never see any more Rachel Alexandra foals.
All right, we say goodnight. The show was great. Winston K., congratulations. He knows what's coming. Unbutton that Aqueduct sub-silk jacket, and here comes the eggs, the hose. Congratulations. Best of luck in your career. And the Mig and I will see you tomorrow night right here on Aqueduct Insider.